co-working and co-living. Is this an opportunity? Should you go into it?
Or is this just a fad? It's gonna die down soon. Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Shawn.
Ivan.
And together we are the co-founders of
Quadrant.
Hey Ivan, you know what? There has been news about this co-living company, right? The SMP place venturing into businesses and exploring even more to going in depth into co-living and co-working. So what do you think about this, Ivan?
I think they're getting very confused with this whole name.
Suddenly you become like smarter, you look smarter and look like more handsome when you are given this name.
Exactly, because it's the looks. The name changed, but then the look stays the same. So I think recently I've seen a lot of more and more people actually going into this whole co-living concept. Of course, co-working is something that the trend has really picked up in the last 4 to 5 years. We're seeing a lot of big companies coming to Singapore doing all this co-working concept. But of course, I think during this whole pandemic, I think the business have really pretty much slowed down a little bit on the co-working perspective. But actually, I started realizing that recently more people are going to the co-living concept. So my thoughts on this is that of course when we talk about co-living means that we are talking about more or less an operator, or could be a single person, or could be a company coming to a landlord to say, hey Ivan, can I rent your unit? But then if I rent your unit, you need to allow me or give me permission and license to rent it out to some other people, or basically to sublet. In this scenario, sublet. So what will these operators do usually is that they will convert Ivan's 3-bedroom, and typically they might convert their living room, as well as they have a dining area, they convert the living room into, let's say, the 4th bedroom. And with that, then they rent out individual rooms. And when you rent out individual rooms, typically you tend to get a higher rental. So then, what's your thoughts? Can make money or not?
My take is that in a more micro scale whereby you rent like apartments inside like private properties, like for example condos, right? The minimum stay for residential property is 3 months. Okay. However, if you are taking out a whole building, for example, you're taking out a whole residential building, right? You can actually apply for a change of use to service apartment, and that totally changes the game because the minimum stay period, right, instead of 3 months becomes 7 days. And when the stay becomes shorter, right, the amount that you can collect on a per day basis goes up. So if someone is just renting 1 month, right, you expect that the rental rates will be higher than someone who is renting for 3 months to 6 months.
Yep. So unfortunately, this cannot be done for any of the STRATA condos, which most...
Unless you buy the whole condo.
Unless you buy the whole condo, right? Yeah, so technically it can be done, right? But very difficult, okay? So if you think about it in this scenario, then see most of them will be renting out the room on per 3-month basis, or at least usually on a 1-year contract basis. So this is usually how it look like, right? So let's say they rent a 4-bedder at, let's say, at $4,000. Then they were to do 4 rooms, assuming from 3-bedroom they convert to 4-bedroom, then they rent each bedroom at, let's say, about $1,400 to $1,600. That will pretty much bring it up to about $6,000 in terms of rental. Minus, of course, certain expenses that will probably bring it down to about $5,500 on a $4,000 rental, which means they make a margins of $1,500 with a cost of $4,000. Now, my thought process is this. I think this can be a very lucrative business, right? But do not kid yourself, is that there will definitely be effort, because you think about it, if 1 unit have 4 tenants, and if you scale it up to 5 units, you likely have 20 tenants, and 20 tenants means 20 problems. Yeah, so problems in the sense that these tenants might ask you for certain things. So it's an effort. No matter what, there is an effort involved in it. So I would like to name this more as a business rather as a tool to be like on a passive income perspective.
Let me give you an idea, right? Because I actually have some small little co-living experiment.
Yes.
Basically, I like to try all these things out. So let me give you a taste of what's happening. Hey, you know what? The tap is not working, so I need someone to come down to resolve it. And hey, you know what? The Wi-Fi connection is poor. And hey, you know what? The light is not working, or the fan or the aircon is not working. And best of all, hey guys, you know what? The toilet got pee stain. Can you send someone to clean up the toilet because it's a whole shared toilet? And on top of this, right? You know what? Hey guys, you know what? The fridge is too messy. Like the fridge has too much
Can you
stuff.
get someone to tell the other tenant to clear some certain things up?
Yeah, and they are like taking over my space in the fridge because I should be in this top left-hand corner, and someone put an apple there. And you know what? My milk that was already there, right? It was gone the next morning. So you have to deal with all these things. Like imagine that.
Yeah, so I think the key thing is that it's not say that you can't make money from co-living. I think we can definitely make money. I think the math works out very nicely. Just that you need to be prepared to actually handle multiple tenants, and not to mention because they are co-living in the same space. So your problems will amplify from all this potential dispute between tenants as well. Now, as a business owner now then, I like to look at it on a business point of view. So technically, I like to look at cost of goods versus, of course, your potential revenue, right? So your revenue, let's say if you do pretty well, let's say 6,000 revenue, your cost is $4,000.
Okay,
right?
break it into simpler terms, right? You're talking about like renting out one room at 1,500.
One room at 1,500, yeah.
So 4 rooms is 6,000.
6,000, yeah. Then let's say you pay the landlord 4,000. That's a very sweet margin of so-called $2,000. So $2,000 margin or profit on a $4,000 cost. Now, what's the potential of maybe only 3 rooms out of 4 rooms is rented? I would say the potential is pretty common. That is something that worst case scenario as a business, we need to plan worst case, right? So in this scenario, then potentially you might only earn $4,500 rental in certain period of time, right, on a $4,000 cost. So now the key here is, as a business, given the fact that my best case scenario is earn 2,000, my normal good case scenario is earn 500 because 3 room, right? And my worst case scenario is that I need to pay the expenses. In this kind of business complex, right? In context, then I would say that as a business, I wouldn't really go too much into it. Now, but the good thing is this: if you are very good at finding tenants, individual tenants, then why not go and take a RS license and de-risk yourself from all these potential problems and earn commission on recurring commission, because you manage the tenant as well, recurring commission on all these. Let's say you have 5 units times 4 tenants, because of 20 tenants. On these 20 tenants, wouldn't that be technically a slightly better business proposition as compared to the co-living concept?
Having said this, right, commission for agents, right, is typically like half a month for every year of like rental, right? And think about it, if you are an agent, would you rather be renting out the whole unit, like finding multiple big units to rent it out, or you want to be renting out each small rooms that's going to be like 1,500 per room? Yeah.
So I think my take is it can be profitable, but it's not worth my time and effort to actually do into this one particular thing, which is called co-living. Now, let's talk about co-working.
Okay, before we go into co-working, right, let me add one more interesting point.
Okay, come add.
Okay, you see, in my opinion, right, it's not worth doing on an individual apartment basis. However, if you're going to be doing it on a whole building basis, then it may be good. What do I mean by this? You see, on a whole building basis, right, if you're able to raise the rental or the amount of like revenue collected on a per building basis, right, then you may be able to get a higher valuation for the property itself. And with this higher valuation, you'll be able to sell higher. So that is actually the capital gains proposition.
Yeah. So if you guys really read what Ivan have just mentioned, right, actually the key profit in all these service apartment or living concept is actually in the capital gains and not really in the cash flow, because what we want to increase the average rental yield of the building so that we can sell it off to the next investor and make the big money, right? So why it can be increased in terms of rental yield? Very simple. You just think about it this way: if hotel can charge $150 per night, you can also charge $120 a night. $120 a night, full occupancy, 30 days is around like $3,000 to $4,000 depending on weekend or weekday, alright, per room, guys, per room. Whereas compared you rent out per room on a 3-month basis, one year basis, you're only getting like $1,500. So of course then suddenly you have almost 2.5 times to 3 times in terms of extra margin. If you then increase rental yield, make it more attractive to the next investor, which equals to capital gain. So that's where your real money is at.
So in summary, right, the game over here, right, is to buy down a building, a residential building.
Yeah, if you can.
Then
or even shop house. Smaller strata, right? So yes, or shop house.
Yeah, after you get the building, right, convert it to service apartment where you can shorten the length of stay from like 3 months to 7 days and raise the rental, and after you raise the rental, you raise the yield on the building itself, and after you raise the yield on the building itself,
ka-ching, ka-ching, sell it off to the next investor for profits.
Yeah, so pretty much we have summarized the value behind co-living, and the next thing is that we are going to cover about co-working in the next video. So if you really enjoyed what we have shared so far, right, do remember to give us a thumbs up
and
also
subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you will be informed when we cover more value-packed videos, content for you guys.
So once again, I'm Shawn.
And I'm Ivan.
And together we are the co-founders of Quadrant.
Quadrant.
Bye.
See you.